Alright guys, today we're going to be making potato gnocchi. Gnocchi is kind of like a mix between a dumpling and pasta. The great thing about gnocchi is that it takes only a few cheap ingredients and it's quite easy. Here are the ingredients you're going to need to make this. Alright Senny, let's get started.
So when it comes to prepping for the gnocchi, you have to do a few things, and the first thing we're going to do is wash 4 small to medium-sized russet potatoes. And once we've washed those clean, we are going to cut them up and then peel the skin off. We don't have a potato peeler, so we're just using a knife and thinly slicing off the skin. And then we're going to cut them into cubes and throw them in boiling water that has been salted. The potatoes will boil for about 15 to 20 minutes. You'll know once they're done when you can stick a fork through them and they're super soft and they almost break into pieces.
So once the potatoes are sufficiently boiled, we are going to drain them into the sink. Make sure to be safe, don't burn yourself. And then we're going to throw them into our stand mixer. If you don't have a stand mixer, just throw them into a mixing bowl, and you can do it by hand, or if you have any other types of mashing tools, you can use those. And then we're gonna turn on the stand mixer to low at first, and then crank it up to medium. We want to make sure that the potatoes are completely mashed and smooth, because you don't want a lumpy dough with chunky potatoes in it. During this whole process, the potatoes will start to cool, so then when we add the egg later on, the egg won't partially cook, because that would be nasty.
So once you're confident that the potatoes are completely smooth and there's no lumps, we're going to start adding in our other ingredients. First thing we're going to do is crack an egg into the bowl with our potatoes and get that started mixing on a low speed. And once you have that mixing, we're going to slowly add in flour. If you notice the dough is still sticky and you can't really mold it, it's not quite done and you need to add more flour. Last thing you're going to add into the bowl will be about a teaspoon of salt, and then it should come together to be a nice dough that you can roll into a ball and then put in the fridge for about 30 minutes.
After we've waited for about 30 minutes for our dough to cool, it's time to begin the shaping process. We're going to start by putting a big bed of flour on the table and then cutting it into segments so each of us can start shaping our own gnocchis.
So once you have your gnocchi dough cut into your own section, you're going to start kind of rolling it like this into thin ropes or logs, so they're about a ½ inch thick. And the flour really help you not let it stick to your hands and get it nice and rolled out. Once you've rolled it out so it's in a log like this thick about, now it's time we can start cutting it up into the little gnocchi pieces. So you're gonna cut the gnocchi into pieces, I would say about the size of like your fingertip, however big you want them really. Try to keep them consistent, but don't worry about them being perfect. It's hard to make a perfect rope of gnocchi. And you can use the last piece's measurements, and they kind of make these square shapes almost. So this is the fun part where you can get really creative with how you want your gnocchi shape to be. I usually just leave them in these squares, almost like pillows, but you can roll them into balls, or you can use a fork to make indents, which helps whatever sauce you use stick to the gnocchi. That just takes a little more time, so whatever you have time for is what you want to do when shaping your gnocchi.
Now we're going to continue to do this for the rest of the dough. Once we're done shaping all of our gnocchi, we are going to fill up a pot with some water and get it boiling. Make sure to add a healthy amount of salt. It should only take gnocchi a few minutes to finish in the boiling water, but the really cool thing about gnocchi is that once it's done, it floats to the top, so it's easy to tell. Alright, so we cooked up our gnocchi and we used some red sauce that we had in the fridge, topped it with a little Parmesan and basil, and now it's ready to be eaten. Ready to try it. Let's go.
It looks great. Let's do it.
I like that quite a lot.
Wow. It's really good.
It's almost fluffy.
Yeah, it's fluffy. I think since we mashed the potatoes super smooth, it just gave it a really nice texture. It's honestly super good.
I definitely recommend trying this at home.
So easy, pretty quick, and a delicious meal. You can even freeze your leftovers and save it for another time.
Let us know if it helped you out. Thanks for watching.
Thank you.